Come on, Betsy. 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 That girl is a wide load, isn't she? She's a big girl. She's a big girl. So's BJ. Two more nights right at freezing. I hope it doesn't kill all these. It's still kind of chilly out here. Oh, I want some peaches this year. I want those so bad. I didn't get any last year. I want some peaches. I want some peaches. One more row to do. I got the fencing attached. Trellises, actually. Just trellises. Boy, it's a challenge working this ground. Which is why some of these posts are not any more in there than they are. You just no way to get them in there. We're pounding them in with a sledgehammer. My husband can barely move his arm now because of that. I can't start them because they're over my head. These are 6-footers. But won't be long now. Won't be long now. Yep. And hey, Keith, I think I'm going to put me a bench right here. I'm going to have to move all these 4x4 pieces and put me a bench right here, like you suggested. I think that's a great idea, to find me a bench. Yep, find me a bench. Great idea. Saturday afternoon, y'all. You saw my community section. You saw I started some seeds inside today. We don't start them very early. I don't have a lot of places to put these things, and my house has an 8-foot porch overhang, so don't get a lot of sunlight in the windows. But, you know, farmers here don't plant until May, so it doesn't do much good to plant too early around here. There's our frost can be the 3rd, sometimes even the 4th week of April. Mostly it's the 3rd. Sometimes it's the 2nd, but you never know what's going to happen, right? I ordered 50 6-foot heavy-duty U-posts. Something flew over. Oh, it's the crow. Heavy-duty U-posts in preparation for getting the fencing for that one side of the property over there. I had to chase away the chickens again with their rooster behind the old chicken pen. Last night's download of the game camera caught roaming dog again. I don't know who this dog belongs to. Every time he's caught on game camera, it's right over here, right near the gate. I've got this sitting on the gate post that leads into the pasture, and he was caught right over here near the gate. And it's always between 8:30 and 9 o'clock at night. So it's almost like someone lets this dog out at night. And I don't know if he belongs to someone new who's moved in somewhere in the vicinity or what, because it's the first time I've ever seen this dog. And so it's even more imperative that I make sure that my fencing is secure. It doesn't have to be super tall. What I'm going to do is I'm getting a 6-foot fence post. I may get the 4-foot fencing, but it's going to be no climb fencing. And because it's going to be a 5-foot, by the time you sink it into the ground, it's still going to be 5 feet. What I'm going to do, excuse me, is I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run stringers or something that last foot to make it, in effect, taller. But it'll be cheaper than buying 5-foot tall, no-climb fencing. Right now we've got the regular livestock fencing that has the great big openings. And it's got the graduated openings where it's very, very big openings at the top and smaller ones at the bottom. But I watched a guy's hen go right through a 4x4 foot opening. No breeder quality Buff Orpington hen could go through that opening. This is a hatchery Buff Orpington, so she was skinny enough she could fit through there. But anyway, the posts are going to be here at the end of next week. I need to hire somebody to clear the fence line from the street at the top all the way down to the pasture. It's kind of treacherous, a lot of briars. It's too much on my husband with his knee and my knee, and so I'm going to hire somebody to do that. In my deep beds, I planted some kale. The cabbage is coming up. I planted some kale on the other end. I planted some spinach on one. And I'm going to, the middle bed, the middle raised bed, which is not as tall as the other two, I'm going to plant all my carrots in it. I planted my black Russian sunflower seeds at the back of the compost pile so that it'll just be a row parallel with the peach tree over there. What else? But anyway, there's things are moving along. I wanted to touch base with you on something. I've been hearing a lot of things. And I don't want to address things specifically, but I've been hearing a lot of rumblings about, and you know how much I love drama. I'm being sarcastic, you know. How much I've heard so much about a lot of the prepper channels, all the people not being who they say they are. Some even taking advantage of other people, some being absolutely people you don't want to follow, things like that. And, you know, in general, you know, you don't ever really know, unless you've followed somebody for quite a long time and you have a really good feeling about these people. A lot of times you don't really know who these people are. Time will usually tell. I've been in this channel for 9 years now. I don't have any videos that old because most of my videos back then were extremely bad quality, and they weren't really made for publication. They were really made for posting on backyardchickens.com, not for actually publishing as a YouTube video per se. And they were bad quality, so they don't exist anymore. But this channel's been around for 9 years, and I think you can probably find videos going back to maybe 2014. At least 6 or 7 years you can find videos going back. And you'll see the quality's kind of crappy on some of them. But hopefully you've got a sense of who I am by now. And, you know, they say a lot of these people are fake preppers or fake homesteaders. And I get what they're saying. They're looking up things in order to have a channel to regurgitate things they've read, not things they've done or things they really know anything about on a personal level. And that does happen. You've seen me. You know, we don't do anything here. We don't talk about a lot of things here that we don't already know about. You know I garden. You've seen my gardens. You know I know a lot about raising chickens. I've raised chickens for 15 years, and you know I've got enough videos out that I think you get the gist of it. And we garden. We're in a category of older homesteaders and also homesteaders with handicaps. When you consider my husband, and you know, he's 68 years old, and he's had degenerative disc disease for at least 30 years or more. And of course, degenerative means it progressively gets worse. And then of course now he's got arthritis, he's got joint problems, and other things. And now he has heart issues. Get the blood pressure under control though. Those blood pressure supplements have got it from 175 over something down to last one of the readings was 109 over 65. Yeah. Be your own advocate with your doctor. Just don't, if you don't want to take something, say, look, you can't explain to me why I need to take this when my blood pressure's already low enough. I'm not taking it. So in any case, we're a special category of homesteaders, older homesteaders with issues. You have to know your limits. You have to know what you can do. You have to know what is within your realm of possibility that you can do and you can handle on a day-to-day basis. That's one reason we don't have a milk cow. That's one reason I don't have goats. Much as I love goats, I think goats are awesome. I would love to have goats frolic in the pasture. You know, they have special veterinary needs, and I just don't feel equipped to handle goats. I can handle goats better than I can handle cows, even though I grew up around cows. My grandfather raised Black Angus cattle. I grew up around milk cows. I milked a cow before. I grew up around hogs during hog slaughter time. I was there when they castrated the young bulls. I was there when they treated them for pink eye and things like that, so I have some experience with that. As a child, seeing all that. The gardens and bringing the hay and this kind of stuff. And of course, being military, it's a little hard to have a farm when you're military. You can't really do that. You have to wait until you're stationary before you can actually do things like that. So we came to it kind of late in life, and we've been here in June it'll be 19 years we've been on this property. And we didn't really start homesteading on this property, not really, for 2 or 3 years after that. This property was just all woods at that point. But we really do what we talk about. I do what I talk about. I may not always do it that well, garden-wise, because every garden year is different. You never know what the weather's going to do. But you have to do something. I've heard people say, and it kind of boggles the mind in the climate we're in now, that they don't have any gardens, they don't know how to preserve food, they don't have any livestock, they don't prep. I'm thinking, what are you going to do when things really get worse than they are now? They're not going back. They're not going back, people. The world is now different. It's now a different place than it was even a year ago. It's a completely different place. It's not returning to what it was. That world is gone. And it's never going to be the same. We're never going to be the same. To put it a different way, nobody's coming to help you. No one's coming to help you. Don't expect the government to help you, because when they do, there are strings attached. You think that $1,400 check is help? That's not help. That's just breadcrumbs off the table. They steal the loaf of bread from you, and then they take the crumbs and throw it back at you. That's what that is. But what does that do? If you're $10,000 behind in your rent or your mortgage, what's $1,400 going to do? Plus you owe utility company stuff, and they're going to cut off your utilities. They're going to kick you out of your home. What are you going to do? Nobody's coming to help you. You have to help yourself. And part of helping yourself is making sure you can eat and have a roof over your head. And sometimes it requires moving from your dream home to a mobile home on an acre that you can afford, that maybe your dream home would completely pay for. If you own something free and clear, you are way ahead of the game. I don't care what it looks like. You can always start over from square one. If you owe nothing, you can build it. We built this place. This place was not a farm. This was all woods with walking trails. This was a 100% wooded property here, almost all the way to the house. Every building here, we built. Every garden here, we made. Every fence here, we put. Of course, the house is totally renovated after house fire, so the house is not even the same. So you have to build you a life, and if you're, and I'm sorry, you can cry about your dream home being kaput in this because of what's happened in our world today, but crying about it, sitting around crying about it, it's not going to help you at all. Put on your big girl panties, or your big boy pants, whichever. Pull them up and say, look, my world's gone. I got to face reality, and I got to get down to business. How am I going to eat? How am I going to feed my kids? Is this giant tax bill, this property tax bill, is this going to help me? Maybe I do need to move. I don't want to, but sometimes you got to do sometimes you have to do what you have to do, not what you want to do. That's what's called being an adult. I never had a real dream home. But the closest thing I've ever had to a dream home is actually right here, where I am now. Because all this is mine. Yeah, I got to pay taxes on it. I got to pay property taxes, but because of my age, the property taxes are very, very low now. I can do it. I can do it. So, you got to do what you got to do. I hear an ATV running around. You got to do what you got to do. Nobody's coming to help you. I don't understand somebody who hasn't stopped preparing for any contingency yet. I don't understand somebody who hasn't started a big pantry of food for the next, it used to be 6 months. I think that's inadequate. I think you need food for a year. Food, medical supplies, water storage. I think you need it for a year. And if you're in an apartment where you can't do that, just limping along in a little job that barely pays for that $1,500 a month apartment, you need to go somewhere else. I mean, that's my honest opinion. Now, you have to do what you feel you need to do, but this is on you. This is going to be your decision what you do. I'm just saying what's coming down the pike, the way you're living now, a lot of people, it's not going to wash anymore. It's not going to do anything for you anymore. You're going to be hungry, and you're going to be beholden to the government for every little crumb. And when they decide there are no more crumbs, or you're not the right kind of person allowed to get the crumbs, what are you going to do then? Don't ever depend on somebody else. Growing all the food, all your food, keeping chickens or for eggs, even having a milk goat if you really want to go that far. I mean, you have to know what your limits are, and you have to research. You have to learn what these animals need medically. You have to learn what good management skills or style for these animals entails. You can't just jump into something willy-nilly. You've got to learn about this stuff, do your research. Learn if this is something you really want to do. Consider your age, consider your infirmities, consider what you can do. The reason I have only poultry is because I know that is what I can do. I know a great deal about it. That's what I know. That's what I'm comfortable with. That's what my husband can manage. And some days when he can't manage it, I can manage it. But just remember, nobody's coming to help you when it all runs out and you're sitting there and they say that they're going to foreclose on your house, or you have to get out of your apartment by the end of the month and you have nowhere to go. They can't control you, though, if you're independent. The government can't control what you do if you are independent. The more you do for yourself, the less they can make you do what they want you to do. That's the whole point of homesteading and prepping and being independent and being self-sufficient. I feel like I've said the same thing in 100 different ways, but I think it bears repeating because I have definitely heard several people recently say, well, I don't have a garden and I don't know how to preserve food, and I don't have any livestock, and I don't know how to do any of this stuff, and they are not making effort to do that. You can have a garden even on a quarter-acre lot. As long as you've got sun to get to it, you can do that. I don't know too many subdivisions where they don't take down every blasted tree they can anymore in the suburbs. I was a realtor. It used to drive me crazy that they don't ever leave enough trees up. But that's the way it is. You know, you can garden. You can put 10 pots out on the deck. If you have a sunny deck, put 10 pots. Learn what grows well in a pot. At least grow medicinal herbs. Get away from the medical system. Grow medicinal herbs. You can do that in pots without a problem. Get Rosemary Gladstar's Guide to Medicinal Herbs. A beginner's guide to medicinal herbs, I think it's called, Rosemary Gladstar. Excellent book. I highly recommend it. I'm about to plant my medicinal herbs. But you know, you've got to think about something. You've got to think outside the box, and you've got to stop living the same way. If you're not independent in any way, shape, or form, you need to change what you're doing, or I'm afraid you're going to suffer. And I don't want you to suffer. I don't. I mean, I'm not telling you this because I want you to do what I do. That's not it. I just want you not to suffer. I don't want you to be one of the people that says, well, can I come to your place because, you know, I know that you got food and you know how to grow it, and no, because I told you for how many years now what you're going to have to do. And now, after all of 2020 and 2021 getting worse by the day, you don't have any excuse now. And yeah, no, you can't move up. You can't move on up. You don't have to do exactly what everybody else does Pinball Preparedness said, you know, talking about keeping up with the Joneses. Well, you don't have to do what everybody else does, and he can't give you specific advice about certain things. I can't give you specific advice about certain things for you to do, not knowing your situation, your age, your infirmities, your location, the laws where you live. I still think the best thing, in my opinion, is to go somewhere where there's not covenants and there's not zoning that's going to keep you from doing things that keep you independent and off the government, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. Your larder needs to be your own larder, not the government's. You need to be putting your food away, because the food that you grow, you know what's in it and you know what's not in it. So anyway, that's enough of that, but I just want to say, you know, this fake prepper thing, the fake homesteader, this ain't no fake here. We do what we talk about. You've seen we do what we talk about. And we work through pain, and we work through having no help to do it. We work through all this. And we know, because we know that if we don't, we may not eat. This is a place in Scripture says, he who doesn't work doesn't eat. Well, that's kind of what happens. You don't grow your food, you may not be eating. And I would like to be eating that nice, tasty, homegrown, organically grown food that I grow without extra fertilizer, that my chickens provide the poop for, and have sunshine and fresh mountain air. And I don't add any fertilizer other than the very rich soil that comes from the breaking down compost that I take from the barn. And I think that's enough rambling, but you know, there are fake people out there, that's true, and there are people that are quite unsavory that you might find out about, you know, but you would hope there wouldn't be, but you know, we have to be real. Of course there are fake people, of course there are. I can't tell you who they are, I'm not going to go into all that stuff, but you know, if you don't see any evidence that somebody's really doing anything, I mean, if they've got something, they've got their little PayPal open so you can buy them something, you can contribute to their, and I'm not talking about people in need. You know, God bless you, the prepper community, for Heather, the homesteading community. Heather, the needy homesteader. Oh my goodness, they came together as a community. They have contributed love, support, and monetary support. Her GoFundMe is well over $500,000. She's going to need every bit of that, especially if her husband did not have life insurance. And of course, if he's the breadwinner, he had the medical insurance. So I don't know what her bills are going to be or what they are, but she needs every bit of it. That is a worthy cause. That is a genuine person. But you know, there are fake people, and there are people who will take advantage. That's true. I can't see that you would ever see me open a GoFundMe for anything. It would have to be something that dire for me to ever do that. I can guarantee you that. I'm not going to have something open for you to send me money for coffee or whatever, you know, like some people do. I'm not saying anything against them. I'm just saying I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, because I'm standing on my own 2 feet just fine. We're standing on our 4 feet just fine. And we have no problem paying our bills, and that is because of years and years and years of good decisions and saying no to a lot of things. Now we're in a better position, and I'm glad. I don't regret the way we live now or what we've had to do to get to the place that we are. So anyway, I know I keep saying I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to really stop talking now, and y'all take care, and have a great weekend, okay? You guys are awesome, and Keith, I'm going to get that bench. I'm going to look for that bench. Thanks, buddy. Bye.